session is good. Not having doubts, having everything clear is good, but it shouldn't happen that you have doubts, you're not working hard enough, you're not practicing, you're not revising, and don't even come for doubt session and finally don't do well in the test. That shouldn't be happening. Right, so let's get started with the topic of capacitor. This part I've taken from the book as very simple definitions. And you like, though the definitions are very simple, and let's be clear about what those definitions are. So this topic is capacitor. We call something as capacitor. This the definition of capacitor is very simple. If we have two conductors placed at a distance from each other, it's called a capacitor. It could be of any shape. So here, what you have shown in the figure, it is any shape. Many times we have more symmetrical shapes, but any shape, two conductors are called a capacitor. So when they are aware, so it is used for a particular purpose. We'll see that later. So typically what we do, if you have two conductors, if one is given a positive charge, say plus Q, other one is typically given not necessarily so, but mostly it is given equal and opposite charge. So one has plus Q charge, other has minus Q charge in a charged state. Okay. So conductor with a positive charge is called a positive plate, and conductor with a negative charge is called a negative plate. Nothing very surprising. Okay. So if what is the net charge? Suppose one has plus charge, other has minus Q charge. Net charge is 0. But when we talk about charge of a capacitor, charge of capacitor is taken equivalent to charge on the positive plate, or mod of the charge on either plate. So when we say capacitor has a charge Q, it doesn't mean the net charge on the capacitor is Q. Net charge of capacitor may always be 0. But when we talk about charge of capacitor in a particular state, it indicates what is the charge on the positive plate. So that also is clear. And when there is this has positive charge and this is a negative charge, naturally their potentials will not be equal. Positive charge will have positive potential, this may have negative potential. So the potential difference between them is called potential of the capacitor. We know there's something called potential is a point function. Then we said for conductor also, conductor has a potential. Though it is a point function, why conductor has a potential? Every point in the conductor is at the same potential in electrostatic state because field in the conductor is 0. So we said, but if conductor also has potential, we should understand meaning of the word conductor having potential means every point in the conductor has the same potential as the potential of the conductor. When we talk about potential of a capacitor, what exactly is mean by potential of a capacitor? When we talk about potential of capacitor is not the potential of the positive plate, neither the potential of negative plate. Actually, it is a potential difference of the two conductors. That's the potential of the conductor of capacitor. I hope that is clear. So what is the potential of the capacitor? Potential of the positive plate minus the potential of the negative plate. So we can represent something like this. That's the count. So what are terms we have defined? We have defined capacitor. Any two conductors separated by distance is capacitor. We have defined charge on a capacitor. Typically, if capacitor is charged, if one has whatever positive charge, other will have equal negative charge. The one with the positive charge is called positive plate. One with the negative charge is called a negative plate. And charge on the positive plate is called charge of the capacitor. Or we can also say mod of the charge on either plate is called the charge of capacitor. And what is the potential of a capacitor? Potential of a capacitor, there are two conductors. Potential difference between two conductors is called the potential of the capacitor. So capacitor term, positive plate, negative plate, charge of a capacitor, potential difference, potential of a capacitor. These 3-4 simple terms we understood. And this is how typically we represent a capacitor. Sometimes one line can be curved, or many times two parallel lines indicate a capacitor. Okay. So these are simple definitions. Let's see. Let's go a little more into capacitor. So simplest form of conductors. What are two simple form of conductors we can think of? We have done a number of cases where two conductors involved. Our simplest thing we can think of. So can we consider two parallel conducting plates at capacitor? Yes, two plates if they are conductor. It doesn't matter what orientation they are placed. They are capacitor. But we are taking a more symmetric case, more easier case. Two plates, both are of area A, and we keep them at a separation D. They form a capacitor. So as we said, if these plates are charged, this plate A is given positive charge plus Q, and this is given a negative charge. So what is charge of the capacitor here? Net charge of capacitor as always remains 0, but charge of the capacitor here is plus Q. What is the potential? What is the potential of the capacitor? To find potential of the capacitor, I need to find the potential difference between A and B, potential difference between positive plate and the negative plate. So can we do that? Can we find potential difference in terms of Q, A and D? What is the potential difference between two plates, which is called potential of the capacitor? Can we find that one? Should be easy. What is the method of finding potential difference between two plates now? Charge is given. What should be the next step? How do you find potential difference? Anyone? How do you find potential difference between two plates?
Field into distance.
Well, basically, we actually, whenever we talk of potential difference, we think potential difference is created by field. dV is equal to minus E dot dr. Okay, so we need to find field, and line integral of field from one point to other gives the potential difference. If I have to define negative of line integral of field from one point to other, gives the potential difference between 2 points. So if I know the field between 2 points, I can find the potential difference, E bar dot dr bar. But since the potential difference is independent of path, we can make the task easier by selecting a path so that dr and E are at the same line. So we choose a path along the field line. In that case, what happens? The angle becomes 0 or 180 degree. So we can get rid of dot sign. That's the method. So every time, what is potential difference? Potential difference between 2 points. Again, I repeat this important point. And we have repeated many times also. Potential difference between 2 points is a line integral of field, negative or line integral of field between 2 points. So how do we make it simple? If I choose a path which makes it simple to calculate line integral or dot product of E vector and displacement vector, we choose a path which makes it easier, which is the easiest path when they are along the same line. So let's do that again. So pretty simple. So first thing, potential of a capacitor is potential difference between plates, which we can easily find. Charge is given, area is given. I can find out to calculate potential difference, we need field. We understand how the charge will get distributed. Net charge is 0, so outer surface will not carry any charge. Inner surface will charge plus Q. Hence, the charge density on this inner surface will be equal to sigma will be equal to Q by A, and field will be equal to sigma by epsilon naught. We know all those terms. So uniform field, sigma by epsilon naught, sigma being Q by A, and this is how the field lines would be. I will choose a path. Which direction? I will choose a path along this line so that angle becomes 0. And we have done that one. In this case, since the field is uniform, no integration required. Straight away, we can calculate potential differences into distance between 2 points, which is B. And we have done it earlier also. So delta V, potential difference between the two, comes into field into D. Field is equal to sigma by epsilon naught, and sigma is Q by A, epsilon naught into D. So this is a potential difference between the two, and which plate is at a higher potential? The plate A having positive charge is at a higher potential, and potential difference is same any path we choose from one plate to the other. If I choose a random path also, if I calculate along this path, what is the potential difference will come to? Along this path also potential difference will be calculated, E dot dr. It will come equal to same expression as before. Okay. So this is something I think so far nothing new. Only thing we have defined what is a capacitor. As some of you have this audio on, please turn it off, Mike. Okay. So we have defined, we understood what is a capacitor. Two conductors are capacitors separated by some distance. We understood charge of a capacitor. In this case, what is the charge of capacitor? Q is the charge of capacitor. We also understood what is potential of a capacitor. Potential of a capacitor is potential difference between the two. If charge is given, how do you find potential difference? If charge is given, you find the field. Line integral of field from one conductor to other, negative of that will give me the potential difference. And since we are concerned about modulus of a potential difference, we know positive charge is higher, is even easier. Okay, so this is something what we find. Let's see what we can deduct further from this particular expression.
Sir, what does potential of a capacitor signify, sir? Like I understood is the potential difference, but what is
the potential difference? And we'll come to that part again. Why potential? We talk about battery. We talk about battery as potential. You know, certain batteries, 1.5 volts. What does this 1.5 volt signify? Okay, since you asked this question now, I thought I'll deal with later, but it doesn't matter. See, what does it mean if potential difference is 1.5 volts? What does it mean? See, you have to get a visual representation. It is like this: two water tanks having a difference in water level.
Yes, sir.
See, potential difference is 1 volt. If I have a 1 unit charge on the negative plate, same 1 unit charge on the positive plate, which will have higher energy?
Positive plate.
Positive.
So charge.
We don't know what the energy is. See, basically, compared to charge on the negative plate, charge on the positive plate will enjoy higher energy. It is similar to mass being placed in a lower tank and a higher tank. So mass which is placed in a higher tank compared to lower tank has higher energy. So what happens to the charge in the positive plate has higher energy. Actually, the correct definition that B terms indicate energy per unit charge. So if 1 unit charge is transferred from a plate having potential difference of 1 volt, I transfer 1 coulomb charge from positive plate to negative plate. What will happen to this energy? What will happen to this potential energy? Potential energy will decrease. If I transfer 1 coulomb charge, how much energy will decrease? Charge into potential difference. Yes, energy will decrease by 1 joules. So what do you understand? If you have a battery of 1.5 volts, what does it mean? If I transfer 1 coulomb charge from the positive terminal of the battery to negative terminal of battery, it will lose how much potential energy?
1.5
coulomb charge if transferred 1.5 joules. So whenever charge gets transferred from higher energy state to lower energy state, potential energy is lost. But whenever potential energy lost is like water falling from higher level to lower level.
Yes, sir.
It is possible to use that energy in some or other form. And all electrical devices work on this principle. How do we get electrical energy? We make the charge flow from higher energy state to lower energy state. So I must have 2 energy states. Then only charge can move. Where does the charge move? It moves from higher energy state to lower energy state. Positive charge moves from higher potential point to a lower potential point. So is the potential difference important? Yes, potential difference is important. What happens if potential difference is more? For same charge flow,
more energy is lost.
So whether you talk about, suppose we talk of battery in the car. What we do in terms of ignition in the car? What is happening? Something is rotating that shaft. Where from the energy for rotation is coming? It is not coming because of petrol. When you turn the car, when you turn the ignition, you tell me what is rotating this some part of the car? What is rotating the engine of the car? Where from the energy is coming? Charge flow. Charge is flowing from positive and potential to lower potential.
Negative, yes.
And greater the amount of charge which is flowing, greater is the amount of energy released. The energy which gets released is a product of 2 things. It's product of which 2 quantities?
Charge and potential difference.
Potential difference. Thus energy gets released. So I hope most of you are following what I said. Gayatri, have you understood what I said just now? Does it make sense why potential difference is important? Why electrical energy is important? Be it when we charge our battery, even mobile phone also. You know how important it is to have the charge on the mobile phone. All of you know that. Nothing could be more important. And you know, worst thing which can happen to a person, you run out of the charge. What happens? No energy left. What does mobile battery do? See, anything you see on the display, in the screen, everything requires energy. Where from the energy for all displays coming? It's because the charge flowing from the higher energy state to the lower energy state. So what does battery do? Battery stores charge at a higher potential. And when we are using the battery, as the charge moves, so when battery is in use, the charge is moving from higher potential to lower potential, thereby energy getting released. That energy released in form of a loss of potential energy can be put to any productive use. How much amount of energy released? Product of charge into potential difference. Is potential important? No. What is important is the potential difference.
Yes, sir.
So when I say battery has potential difference of 1.5 volts, I can call negative terminal as 0, positive terminal as 1.5, it's still same amount of energy. If I can say negative terminal is minus 7.75, positive is plus 7.5, plus 0.75. Does it make a difference? No. Amount of energy which gets released as the charge flows from positive plate to negative plate remains the same. It depends on potential difference. That's why I keep talking about what is more important, not the potential. What is important is potential difference. The energy which gets released depends on from where to where it can flow. So I hope following why potential. So when we talk about potential, when I say 1 volt, how our mind should interpret charge of 1 unit placed at that point will have energy of 1 joule. That's 1 volt. Charge of 1 coulomb placed at a point having potential 1 volt will have energy equal to 1 joule.
Yes,
if it is placed at 5 volts, if I place a charge of 1 coulomb at a point having potential of 5 volt, it will have energy equal to 5 joules. If I place 0.1 unit coulomb charge at a point having potential of 5 volts, it will have energy equal to 0.5 joules. So it is an indication of energy available. And what is important, only when the energy can flow from higher energy state to lower energy state. If energy is available only at higher state, if energy cannot move from higher potential energy to lower potential energy, the energy of no use. What is the part of energy which is useful? Which can from higher state to which lower state it can flow to. The difference in potential energy of two states is the one which is relevant, which is useful, which can be put to productive use. So I hope all of you getting a sense of why potential is important.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Disha?
Yes, sir.
So are you getting some sense of meaning of word potential?
Yes, sir.
No, what does it give you? See, actually it gives an indication of energy a charge particle will have.
Yeah.
And when we talk about potential difference, all of you need to understand significance of potential difference. I hope that part is clear. This difference in potential indicates potential which is available in form of energy flow. As something like water falling from higher level to lower level, the greater the difference in height is and greater is the mass which falls, higher this amount of energy which gets released. And that energy can be, if we are smart enough, that energy can be put to productive use. And all the devices which have been designed, actually they use that electrical energy. And even that when we talk about electric car, where the energy will come from electric car. We talk about charging electric car. Can you somebody think of a logical explanation? What would charging mean?
Increasing the potential difference.
So something like pumping of water. See, what does a pump do? Pump transfer on its own mass will not go from lower level to higher level. Similarly, the charge also will not go from lower potential to higher potential. What does charging do? Charging is a system which transfers the charge from a lower state to energy state. And during the day, when we use this charge, what we do, again, it goes back from higher state to lower energy state.
So we're doing equal opposite external work, right, sir?
Yes. So basically, when we are charging, we are doing external agencies doing work on the charge to transfer from lower state to energy state. That's charging. So during the day, what happens? The charge flows back from higher energy state to lower energy state, and that amount of energy, electrical energy, we get released, gets converted in form of kinetic energy to drive a car. So understand this charging and usage. Charging and usage. In case of charging, what we do, we raise the potential energy of charge. Usage, again, we lower the potential energy of charge. That's the cycle. Okay. So there's something. So I hope we get some sense of potential. And it's important to understand why we study the topic. And everything we use electrical devices practically everywhere. And all electrical devices, energy comes in form of this one. Transfer of potential energy, a loss of potential energy gets released. Now coming back to, so what we talk about, again coming back to capacitor, I think 4 points are simple points, all are clear to everybody's mind. What is capacitor? Two conductors separated by distance are capacitor. Charge of a capacitor, net charge may be 0. One has plus Q charge, other has minus Q charge. Charge of capacitor is charge on the positive plate or positive part of conductor. Potential of a capacitor is potential difference between positive plate and the negative plate. To find potential, I need line integral from positive plate to negative plate, line integral of field. So if you know the field at all points between the two plates, or at least along one path, I can find out potential difference. So to find potential difference, we need field. And if these points are understood, mostly we'll use these points for several calculations today. Okay. So what we notice here is potential difference between the plates is proportional to Q. What it means, if I double the charge, what will happen? The potential difference also will double. So clearly what we find, V is proportional to Q. And anything which is proportional, there's a constant of proportionality. And we understand the reason why V is proportional to Q, because as the Q increases, field increases in the same proportion. Field is linearly dependent on charge and potential is linearly dependent on field. So no surprise that potential difference is a linear function or is proportional to charge. Hence, there's a constant of proportion. Let's take the constant proportion Q by V. What is the term Q by V comes to here? If I take Q by V ratio, Q by V ratio is a constant for a given pair of conductors. So basically, as long as I don't change the area and the separation between the plates, this ratio will remain constant. The ratio between Q by V will remain constant, and even if I keep changing the charge and keep checking the potential, ratio will always come constant as long as I'm not changing what? Which thing I'm not changing? Area is not being changed and separation is not changed. So there's a particular arrangement of conductor. As long as the geometry is not disturbed, this ratio remains constant, and that constant proportion is called capacitance of capacitor. What is capacitance? Ratio of charge by potential difference. Potential. So what is this? If I define in terms of parameters related to capacitor, ratio of charge of a capacitor divided by potential of a capacitor is capacitance. It's a constant for given configuration. And what is the unit? If I didn't have anything else, you could have used the numerator as Coulomb. This is volt. I could have used a unit Coulomb by volt. But again, many of those terms we give a special name. And this unit is called Farad after Faraday. The notation what we use, F, capital F, indicates a unit of capacitance. All are clear. What is capacitance? What is capacitance? Karthikeyan, what is capacitance?
The ratio between C and V.
Ratio between Q and V. What is Q here? You know, are you clear? What is charge of capacitor? What is potential of a capacitor?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is the ratio remain constant? So is capacitance depends on charge? No. Capacitance does not depend on the charge, because as the charge will increase, what will happen? V also will increase in the same proportion. Is independent of charge. It is not a function of charge. That is one thing I think many times people make mistake. It's not a dependent charge. What is C equal to? If I take this ratio, you take this Q by V. Q by V equal to A epsilon naught by D. So it depends on what? It depends on the geometry. It depends on the geometry, which means size and how they are oriented, how far those capacitors, how far those conductors are placed. Does it make sense, the word geometry?
Yes, sir.
So what does capacitance depends on? It depends on geometry, the way two conductors are placed. And the way the conductors are placed, according to charge also arrange themselves. In this kind of arrangement, where the charge would be on this left surface and this surface, two opposing interior surface. There will not be any charge on the outer surface. It will be like a plane sheet charge. Had it been a sphere, the charge will be arranged in a different fashion. Since in case of we are talking about conductor, it basically depends on nature of the outer surface of the conductor. The charge resides only in the outer surface. It doesn't concern itself with the interior part. Charge only remains on the outer surface. So where the charge will arrange itself will depend on the nature of outer surface. So for parallel plate capacitor, this is important formula, pretty simple one. We use it many times, so commit it to memory. What is capacitance for parallel plate capacitor? A epsilon naught by D. So how do I increase the capacitance? By increase the area compared to smaller area. If I take larger plate, capacitance will increase. Other we can increase the capacitance by making the spacing small. And many of the practical capacitors which are available in the market, they may have spacing of less than a micrometer, extremely small spacing. So the advantage of extremely small spacing is, if spacing is small, with a small area also, small size of capacitor, I can get higher capacitance. And you see later, the energy capacitor also is a device which can store energy, and it can store more energy if the capacitance is more. That's why we want to have higher capacitance. Okay. So another way to define capacitance is something, what is the charge I need to create a potential difference of 1? And from this equation, I can define that one. What is C equal to? C is equal to magnitude of charge I need to place on the capacitor to create a potential difference of 1 volts. Okay. So if capacitance is higher, it needs higher charge to be given to capacitor to reach a potential difference of 1 unit. This is nothing but equation I'm stating in different words. C depends on shape or geometry of two conductors. And we see, so this is one geometry, there can be various combinations. And that's what we're going to study, what are the different kind of combination we come across, but basic principle remains same. Okay. So what happened, suppose in this case, see what happens in capacitor, earlier we were talking, so potential difference is V. Suppose we connect these two capacitors, what will happen the moment we connect these two capacitors? What happens the moment we provide a connecting path or we connect two different conductors by a conducting wire? The positive charge flows from conductor of higher potential to conductor of lower potential, and it keeps flowing until the potential becomes equal. So moment there is a passage available, if there is any possibility for charge to flow, charge will move from plate with higher potential or conductor with higher potential to lower potential. So whatever charge this will lose, similar charge this will gain. So if some small charge flows, this charge will become Q minus dq, and this will become minus Q minus dq. So as the charge flows also, any moment as the charge is flowing, magnitude of charge on two plates will be equal, sign will be opposite. And as the charge gets transferred from here to here, what will happen to energy flow? There will be loss of potential energy. A charge gets transferred. How much is the loss of potential energy charge dq flows? What is the loss of potential energy here? If charge small charge dq flows. When a small charge dq flows, I can assume during the flow the potential has not changed much. That's why small charge dq. If the potential is 100 volts, maybe from 100 volts it has dropped to 99.9. I can take the potential to be constant. So what is the loss of potential energy? Loss of potential energy is equal to dq. It has moved from a potential of VA to potential of VB. So loss of potential energy is equal to dq into VA minus VB, which is V. So as the charge dq moves from positive plate to negative plate, small charge dq, loss of potential energy will equal dq into V. Energy that gets released for any particular unit. So whenever charge moves from positive plate to terminal plate, what will happen? Energy will get released, which can be put to productive use. If plates are connected, what will happen? Charge will keep flowing until the potentials become equal. But initial charge, it will release more energy. Later charge flow. See, suppose there are 1000 units of charge. First unit of charge, when it flows, it will release more energy. Later units of charge will release less energy. Why is that so?
V decreases.
V keeps on decreasing. So basically, initial as the V keeps changing, the energy gets released for same amount of charge transfer, dq remaining same. As the V keeps decreasing, energy gets released will also keep on changing. So this is something, anything new we have done? Nothing really much new. Okay. Let's understand in terms of calculation, a very simple calculation. Calculate the capacitance of parallel plate capacitor. We take something of practical size. What is the dimension it has? 20 centimeter by 20 centimeter. A normal kind of plate it has. And they're separated by 1 millimeter. 1 millimeter is not too small. Actually, these days we can micrometer also is possible. Can we calculate capacitance? To calculate capacitance, all I need is a formula. What is the formula capacitance of parallel plate capacitor? A epsilon naught by D. That's the formula. Only problem is, what is the value of epsilon naught? We don't know. What we know is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is equal to 9 into 10 to power 9. Either I can use this formula, or I can remember this value of epsilon naught from the same formula. We get 8.85 into 10 to power 12, 10 to power minus 12 in SI unit. So I can substitute these values, everything in SI unit. I get the value of capacitance in SI unit. What I notice here, this value will come to be extremely small number. The example I have taken to illustrate the fact that practical capacitors, the unit Faraday is extremely large unit. Typical capacitance are of the order of nanofarad, microfarad. But typically we'll come across, if a realistic capacitance are there, farad is too large a unit. More practical units are in the order of micro, nano kind of thing. Okay. Another thing we'll discuss is battery, because battery also, this comes along with capacitance. What is battery here? Battery also, this is something all of you have come across. You know, battery also has two terminals. In fact, battery also, conceptually, it is similar to capacitor. It has two plates called two terminals. One plate has positive charge, other plate will have equal amount of negative charge. Because any charge you bring close to the battery, the charge will not experience any electrostatic force. What does that indicate? The net charge on the battery is 0. So one plate has positive charge, one plate has negative charge. And we know if the two plates are kept given positive and negative charge, field gets created only between the region between the plates. There's no field outside. So any charge you bring close to the battery, it will not experience any field. It will not experience any force. So battery has two terminals similar to capacitor. But our battery and capacitor, same thing, they are not same. We'll try to understand what is the difference between the two. So battery will study in, again, some more detail in the next chapter, which is current electricity. But some properties which are relevant now, we'll do now. So when it is like this, when there's this positive charge, negative charge, of course, there will be field between the two. And there's a field, there's a potential difference. So potential difference between the plates of that battery is battery function in such a way that potential difference remains constant, unlike capacitor. What happens in case of capacitor, we have seen, as soon as the charge flows from one plate to the other, the potential difference changes. What is unique about battery? As the charge flows also, potential difference does not change. How the potential difference is maintained? Potential difference is maintained by the internal mechanism of battery. We'll not go into too much of detail how does internal mechanism work, but we'll briefly look at what it means. So potential difference, there are three different notations we use to indicate potential difference between terminals of the battery. We term V also to indicate potential difference. We term called E also, and some term called eta. Eta term is something, it looks very strange looking term. It looks like E, but it's a very something very curvy shape. Eta is the term why we use E, because potential difference between terminals of battery. We use another term called EMF, electromotive force. It's a misnomer because it's not a force. It's a potential difference between terminals. But still we continue to use that term. What is EMF of the battery? EMF of the battery is nothing but potential difference between terminals of the battery. We'll study in more detail as we come to. So what is battery? Okay, so battery also in a way similar to capacitor. What is the key difference between capacitor and battery? In case of capacitor, if the charge flow from positive plate to negative plate, if you provide a path for charge to flow from positive plate to negative plate, the potential difference changes. What happens in case of battery? The potential difference does not change. We'll see why. The net charge of the battery remains 0 at all times. So net charge remains 0. So does it mean no charge transfer will take place? No. The charge which will flow from the terminals of battery will always in such a way that net transfer is 0. So how do we make the net charge to be 0? We can write in two ways. Let's pay attention to what are the two ways. So one, we can say what goes out from one terminal, same amount comes in from the other terminal. So net will remain same. If one loses 4 units, other gains 4 units. Or other way of saying is, what does this figure indicate? From one terminal, with positive terminal, dq charge flows out. From negative terminal, minus dq charge will flow out. Okay. So in that case, what is the net flow out? If I take the whole thing as system, what is the net flow out from the system? Net flow out is plus dq minus dq, net flow out is 0. So one way of net charge on battery remains 0 at all times. If charge dq goes out from the positive terminal, minus dq goes out from the negative terminal. What principle I'm following? What is the net charge out? Net 0 out. I can state the same thing slightly different way, and we should understand both ways. I'm not talking about any complex thing. I'm saying the net remains 0. So net remains 0, two ways I can enter. Other way I can say is out is equal to in. Whatever quantity, whatever goes out, same thing comes in. So no sign is in. So no sign issue. So alternatively, if dq leaves one terminal, dq enters other terminal. That's how we can write. I hope all of you understand the difference between the two. In this case, what I indicated, I have talked about what is going out. Going out is 0. It means if plus dq goes out from other terminal, minus dq goes out. So we'll say if a positive plate sends out a charge dq, negative charge in the plate will send also charge minus dq. Other way of stating the same thing is, if positive plates of charge dq goes out, negative plate charge dq must come in. So one thing, net 0 out, other way I am following the principle, out is equal to in. That's how the charge flow will take place. So what has happened here? See, in case of battery, what would happen? We have seen earlier in case of capacitor, if this kind of charge flow takes place, What is this kind of charge flow place take? What will happen? This charge flow place plate. How much will charge will be now? Charge should have become Q minus dq. And this also should have become minus of Q minus. Charge on both plates should have decreased had it been a capacitor. What happens in case of battery? That's what the internal electrolyte or internal system does. As soon as the charge flows out from the terminals of the battery mechanism replenishes the charge. So internal mechanism of the battery, moment the charge dq flows out, what happens? The internal mechanism supplies same amount of charge to the positive plate and similarly the other plate. So what is the role of the battery? What is the internal mechanism battery does? It maintains the charge on the two plates as plus Q and minus Q. Since the charge is maintained, potential is maintained. How does it maintain? By supplying the charge which is flowing out. So what happens in the, how does it supply? So suppose you have an atom, it breaks into positive charge and negative charge. Positive charge will go to positive terminal, negative charge will go to the negative terminal. So how much if the dq charge flows out? So what will happen? This again, ionization will take place here. Ionization, how much ionization? How much charge will get separated? dq charge will get separated. So positive dq charge will come to positive plate, negative dq charge will go to negative plate. So what is key difference between capacitor and a battery? Both have plus charge, minus charge, both have potential difference. But in case of capacitor, there's no mechanism to replenish the charge if it flows out. In case of battery, the battery mechanism replenishes the charge which flows out through internal ionization process. Do we need to understand the internal process? No. This is the only thing we need to understand. As the charge flows out from the battery, it gets replenished by internal battery process. Hence, charge on the plate as well as potential difference remains constant. The role of internal mechanism is to replenish the charge, maintain the charge on the battery. Net charge always remains zero. Any questions so far? And if nothing, these are basic definitions. Go through after the class again, basic definitions, see that every part is clear. This also very simple things. I think some of you have the sign convention all, very simple thing. Net out is 0 or out is equal to N. Any of these two, that's how the charge flow. The charge flow also is a minor thing, not very complex thing, but very often we use that one. So we should not go wrong in those things. Okay. So if charge dq is transferred from positive plate to negative plate, it is, see, if you look at this whole thing, it is equivalent to charge transfer of dq getting transferred from positive plate to the negative plate. If you provide a path, charge will flow. Loss of potential energy is equal to dq by. So if in this mechanism, what has happened? If dq charge flows in, it is effectively transferring charge dq from positive plate to negative plate. What is the loss of potential energy? Potential energy is dq by v. And that energy, again, battery has come back to the same energy state. So what is if the charge flows here, what is the energy which has been supplied by battery? Where from this energy has come? Energy has come from the battery. So if charge dq flows from a positive terminal or to negative terminal of battery of potential V, energy supplied by the battery is charge flow into V. Energy supplied by battery. Any complication in that? Yes, Alan?
Sir, when the charge transfer takes place, does it take place instantaneously or is there a delay?
Actually, see, if you connect battery, the charge, see, suppose you connect a wire, it takes time. It doesn't take instantaneously. See, some of you studied current also. What does higher current indicate? Charge is flowing at a rapid rate. Charge transfer cannot. So basically, yes, is it instantaneous? No. It happens over a period of time. So in a given time delta t, if charge dq has been transformed from positive plate to negative plate, we can say that the battery has supplied energy. It has lost potential energy equal to dq into v. And that who's compensating for the loss? Battery is compensating for the loss. Battery is supplying energy equal to dq into v. So,
Sir, so if the charge is transferring, it is not at the terminals, right? It's not at the battery.
no, actually, see, battery also, see, suppose we have battery of 1.5 volts. Can there be any potential difference between two terminals of battery without any field being there?
No.
Can there be potential difference between two terminals of the battery without the field being there?
No.
It cannot be. And can the field be there without the charge being there? It cannot. So basically it means the terminals of battery also, one terminal has, the positive terminal has positive charge, negative terminal has negative charge. And why, how do we prove the charges are equal and opposite? Is there any experimental way to prove that net charge on battery is zero? Can we experimentally prove that net charge on the battery is zero? How can we prove that net charge on the battery is zero? By bringing a test charge near to the battery.
Field outside the battery is zero.
No, so when I bring a test charge outside the battery, what I find, yes, okay, it doesn't experience any force. It's an indication there's no field here. Net charge is zero. But if somehow you can take the charge inside the terminals of the battery, then you experience force, which you are not able to because battery is C. So, any other question?
Sir?
Yes?
Sir, in the first case, sir, how do we explain the loss of the potential energy?
You see, in this case, see, if I measure, if I just, there are some devices, suppose there's some device we can measure charge flow. What I notice here, this how much charge I can measure the charge flow, how much charge has flown from this side. From here, if I have meter, I find the charge with dq has flown out. And here, if I meter, I can find the charge dq has flown in. It is equivalent to path is immaterial. Charge has moved from a higher potential plate to lower potential plate. Okay. So how much is the loss in potential energy?
dq into v, sir.
dq into v. But again, what I find, this again, after the charge transfer, again, see, let's say the charge transfer taken place. Again, I check on the battery is in the same state. So again, whatever state the battery was, earlier was charge Q, now also charge become charge Q. So battery has come to the same energy state. So it has some, so where from this energy come? It has supplied energy equal to dq into v. It still does come back to same state. It means some internal mechanism battery has replenished that energy. That energy has come from chemical energy, which has come from ionization. That energy has been replenished. So battery stores energy in chemical form. Whenever energy is consumed in electrical form, the chemical energy gets converted and supplies energy to the battery in form of electrical energy.
Yes.
Are you making some sense?
Yes, sir.
So battery has supplied 1 joule of energy. But battery has come back to the same potential difference. What has happened? The loss out has been compensated.
The internal mechanism.
Right. What energy? The chemical energy which is stored in battery gets converted in form of electrical energy. That mechanism is a complex mechanism. We don't have to deal with it. Right? There are a number of ways it can be done, but we don't deal with it. Internally what it does, internally what is happening. So what is energy supplied by the battery? When the charge flows, energy supplied, charge dq flows, energy supplied to the battery is dq into v. Is it complicated? No. These are all small points, but all small points should be clear because the small points only give you trouble. Sign convention, what is happening, which is flowing. All these points are clear. See that again, any doubt? Again, we'll clarify now. Yes, Vignesh, again some doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. And I request all of you, even after the session gets over, go through the all basic points again so that all small points are understood. They're all pretty small points. There's nothing very complicated. Here I am applying net zero out. Is it complex thing? Absolutely not. I'm taking out is equal to in so that net remains same. Absolutely not difficult one. So again, I have compared the battery with capacitor, understand the difference between the two also. See that all points are clearly understood. Now let's understand if you have a capacitor, suppose I have two plates. On its own, one plate will not get a positive charge, other plate will get a negative charge. So placing a charge on a capacitor plus Q minus Q, the process is called charging of a capacitor. Does the word charging make sense? Initially, what two plates have 0, 0 charge. Finally, I end up having what charge? One plate is having plus Q charge, other having minus Q charge. So earlier, there's a potential in it. So this process of placing a charge on the capacitor is called charging. How it is typically done? If I connect what you see in the top you see a capacitor. What is you see in the bottom? What is this? I think all of you are familiar with this notation. What does this indicate? A battery. The longer side indicates positive terminal. The shorter side indicates negative terminal. So what will happen moment I connect? Think of it. What will happen if I connect? I have connected one plate of the capacitor to the positive terminal of the battery. I have connected other plate of the terminal to the negative terminal of the battery. As soon as I make this connection, what will happen? So whatever comes to mind, try and tell me what your mind tells what will happen if I connect two plates of the capacitor to two different terminals of the battery, what will happen? A battery of potential V is connected to the plates of a capacitor. What will happen moment I connect? Whatever thoughts come to mind, you can tell me. Then we'll see what thought is correct, what is not correct. Again, a hint also I'll give you. Even battery plate also can be considered as a conductor. That's why the charge is flowing. This also conductor. When we connect also, this blue wire also is a conductor. Even the red wire also is a conductor. What will happen if I place this? Connect. What we have done here, I can simple terms I can state. Battery is connected to capacitor. What will happen if I connect a battery of potential V to a capacitor of capacitance C? Anyone? Anything? What comes to your mind?
Sir, so equal amount of charge should flow from the battery, like from
First
the
of
two
all, why would
terminals.
charge flow?
Potential
Difference in
difference.
potential.
So what will happen? See, let's look at the wording. Now, moment I connect this plate, this whole part, left half, it becomes one system or not? It becomes like one conductor. Moment I connect left plate of the capacitor with the positive terminal of the battery, the left plate also has to ultimately acquire the same potential as the positive terminal or not? See, entire left part, is it a one conductor or not? Entire left half, is it a one conductor or not? Entire left half now.
Yes, sir, it is.
This is left half, one conductor. It means whatever potential is there on this plate, same potential is there on this plate of the capacitor. Does it make sense or not? In a steady state. And similarly, so if I connect, basically the left plate of capacitor will acquire the same potential as the positive plate, positive terminal, and right plate of the capacitor will acquire the same potential as the potential of the negative plate. In other words, potential difference across the capacitor will become same as potential difference across the terminal of the battery. That's a steady state. Until then, the charge transfer will keep taking place. How long the charge transfer will? How long will the charge flow? Till the potential difference across the capacitor becomes equal to potential of the battery. How long will the charge flow? Tejas, how long will the charge flow? From why would the charge flow? To make the potentials equal.
Equal, yes.
Okay. So see, this plate potential has to become equal to positive plate, and this plate also has to become negative plate. How the potential become equal? This has positive charge. This also has to acquire positive charge, and this also has to acquire negative charge. So charge will flow to make the potentials of plates equal. Or other way of saying, better statement is charge will flow until the potential difference across the plates of capacitor become equal to potential of the battery. So how much charge has flown? Let me say the charge flown is, this is plus Q. And since the charge, net charge flow has to be 0, if there's plus Q is going out, minus Q also goes out. So net going out is 0. So this will acquire a charge of plus Q. This will acquire a charge of minus Q. And what will happen? Internally, the battery, inside the battery, ionization will take place. The charge will get replenished. The charge on the positive plate of battery and negative plate of the battery will not change. It will get replenished. So let's see. So left plate of the capacitor acquires the same potential as the positive terminal. The plate connected to negative terminal equal to that of negative terminal. Or this statement I can say the potential difference across capacitor becomes equal to that of battery, that is V. How much charge will flow from the battery, which is necessary to create the potential difference. Let the charge flow is Q. Q has to be equal to T into V. Then only potential difference is V. What is V here? How much charge will flow? The charge flow is a combination of capacitance of the battery, capacitance of the capacitor, and the V is the voltage of the battery. What does it mean? If I connect it to 1 volt battery, if some amount of charge will flow. Suppose I have connected same capacitor to 2 volt battery. The charge which have flown would have been twice. Does it make sense? Whatever charge flows, sorry. How much charge will flow from the battery? First of all, why would the charge flow? Shravani, why would the charge flow to the from battery to capacitor? Because it. Kevin, why would the charge flow from battery to capacitor?
Sir, the charge will flow because the potentials have to become equal.
Potential, which potential becoming equal?
The capacitor's potential should become equal to the potential of the battery.
Battery. No, so potential difference across the plate of capacitor must become equal to potential difference across the plates of the battery. Or other way saying, potential of the capacitor must become equal to potential of the battery. So if this potential here is V, this also should be V. And we know what is the relationship between charge, capacitance, and V. We have seen previously also what is the relationship between charge, capacitance, and V. Relation between charge, capacitance, and V is what? I think you have seen this one. This is the relationship. What is this relationship? So what is charge equal to? Charge equal to C into V. So I use this relationship to find the charge. Are you clear? How much charge will flow? C into V. Then only potential difference become equal to V. Let's take this one, something like this. So you have a simple question based on similar concept. I just using today only one thing new. We have defined the term new, C. C is equal to Q by V. So this is a very simple question. What we have done, we have a capacitor. It has a rating of what is capacitance? Its capacitance is 60 micro. So sorry, I think they have misprinted. So capacitor gets a charge of 60 microcoulomb. So capacitor, when it connected to battery, we have measured the charge is 60 microcoulomb. When it's connected to battery of 12 volts. What was the potential difference across the terminals of the capacitor at this stage when it is fully charged? This also has to be equal to 12 volts. Can we find the capacitance of this capacitor here? I'll use this equation. C is equal to Q by V. I have substituted Q by V. It is 5 microfarad. Okay. So again, we have calculated capacitance for a parallel plate capacitor equal to A epsilon naught by T. Let's try and think how did we calculate, and the way we have calculated for parallel plate capacitor, it can be calculated for any other shape if we can find field. What is the method of calculation of capacitance? Let's look at the method. What we have done in that case, we have assumed a charge of plus Q on one conductor and minus Q on the other. There has to be two conductors. We assume charge on one is plus Q, charge on the other is minus Q. After that, what we do, actually calculate Q and V. To calculate capacitance, I need a ratio between Q and V. So I assume this Q value, and then to calculate potential, first I calculate field. Then we calculate field in the region between two conductors. Then we calculate the potential difference V along the field line in terms of Q. The field will depend on Q, so potential difference also in terms of Q. Then we take the ratio of Q by V, that is the capacitance. What will happen is that even the V also will be in terms of Q. Q terms will cancel out. We'll get a ratio which will be free of Q term, and that ratio is called capacitance. Let's do for some other shapes also. We are done for parallel plate capacitor. The steps are simple. We give arbitrary charge Q. We find out potential difference between the plates of the capacitor in terms of Q by finding field. And we take the ratio, find capacitance. Let's say, can we find capacitance for two concentric shells? So I give 2 minutes. All of you try. Can you find out capacitance of a concentric shell using the method we had just mentioned in the previous slide? That was the method. Charge Q minus Q, calculate field in the region between two conductors, calculate potential difference, and find the ratio. Can we find capacitance of two concentric spherical shell? Inner shell has a radius of R1, outer shell has a radius of R2, all shown in the figure. We have placed plus Q charge. One step is already done in the figure. We have placed charge. Are there two conductors? There are two conductors. Two shells are there. They're not connected to each other. They are two independent conductors. So we have placed charge plus Q on the inner surface, minus Q in the outer. We could have done in the reverse order also. Answer would have been same. But anyway, we have done plus Q minus Q. Can we find out capacitance? Can we find capacitance here? So some of you are thinking, what we need to find capacitance? I need is Q by V. Which V should we take here? V is between which potential difference between which 2 points? Is potential difference between positive plate and the negative plate. So you have to find potential difference. V is nothing but VA minus VB. Can we find the potential difference? There are a number of ways you can find potential difference. Either I can integrate, or I know the formula also. I can calculate potential at B. I can also calculate potential at A. And you can calculate VA minus VB. So suppose I using field, I can do that. Let the charge is already given. We know to find potential difference between 2 points, I need to find field. What is the field in this region? Field in this region will only due to charge plus Q. The field in the region between 2 conductors KQ by R square. What is the potential difference between A and B? Potential difference between VM and VB is equal to VB part is here R2, R1, KQ by R square. I can find out potential difference. This is easy expression. We have done it earlier also. Or I could have used the formula also. How do we calculate potential here? Potential is here due to outer shell and inner shell. In case of outer shell, I'll take the radius R2. In case of inner shell, I'll take the radius R1. That way also we could have calculated. So what we find potential difference is KQ 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. So KQ 1 by a smaller radius, inner shell radius, outer shell radius. But this has V. How do we get capacitance? What is capacitance equal to?
Q by V.
Q by V. So this term also I write R2 minus R1 divided by R1 I2 and take Q by V. This expression I get for capacitance. So what is capacitance? Equal to 4 pi epsilon naught R1 R2 divided by R2 minus R1. Okay. So was it necessary to use the field? No. We could have done it other way also using formula for potential. We could have derived that way also. And you can do so. You can find the answer, of course, has to come to same. Let me take a limiting case of the same. What is the limiting case? Let's say that both R1 and R2 are very large. What does very large mean? Let's say this R1 radius is 5 meters and R2 is 5 meter, 5.001 meter. So what does this mean? One is 5 meter, other is 5.001 meter. Both are large radius. They are large compared to what? They are large compared to the distance between the two. So a small separation compared to size of the. What would the potential? What would be capacitance in that case? Very large radius. I can say R2 is almost equal to R1 less than the radius. So 5 and 5.001 are the same, and the small gap D. The small gap D is R2 by R2 minus R1. So if I substitute this value, what do I get here? In place of R1 and R2, both when I write RR. And the denominator R2 minus R1 is nothing but the spacing between the two shells. I get 4 pi R square by D. Does this expression look something similar to what we have seen before? What is 4 pi R square?
Area.
Area, surface area. A epsilon naught by D.
Yes, sir. Same expression.
So why does it? So is it very surprising that the expression comes equal to A epsilon naught by D? Actually not. Very large spherical shell also, if radius becomes large, they become like two parallel plates. So not very surprising. So what we find if we take a limiting case, very large radius and separation is small, what we find, this expression also comes very similar to what we had in case of large parallel plates. So you understand, large parallel plates also give to slightly curved shape, so capacitance remains the same. If we large plates, if we bend in form of a curved shape, concentric part of the shell, what would be its capacitance? Still it will remain A epsilon naught by D. Okay. Okay, shall I do this part? Yeah, you can do that also. See, so far we talked about two conductors. So even a single conductor also can be treated as a capacitor. In that case, what we do, see the charge, we say the universe charge is constant. So moment is place charge plus Q, where would the charge come from? It has to come from somewhere. If there's no other object, the charge must have come from Earth. So when in case of single sphere, we assume the second object is what? What is the second conductor? Earth can be taken as a second conductor. So what are the two things here? There's one sphere of radius r, which is for capacitor, I need to have second conductor. I have not drawn a big circle. What does this one indicate? This is Earth. So we have placed plus Q charge here. How much charge you place on the Earth? Minus Q. Can we calculate capacitance of this system here? This system we can always also say, what is this system here? Is isolated sphere of radius r. What is the capacitance of an isolated sphere r? Earlier I calculated spherical shell. Can we calculate capacitance of the system here? Try and think, how do we calculate capacitance? And you will find the method is no different. And if you apply your mind is parallel lines to what we have done before, we should be able to arrive at an expression for potential, sorry, for capacitance. Method is Q. Find potential difference. Ratio of Q and potential difference is my capacitance. Anybody has an answer?
Sir?
Anybody has an answer? Can you find a capacitance? Actually, it's very quick. You can do it very quickly. It's a very simple expression. Yes, Asha, you have an answer?
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Sir, here the potential of the Earth can be treated to be 0.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Whatever the charge is, even the charge is plus Q minus Q, potential of Earth is 0. So potential difference is nothing but potential of conductor.
yeah.
And if the charge is Q, what is the potential of the conductor?
KQ by R.
KQ by R. So pretty simple. So that's actually the whole derivation, whole solution. Charge is spherical, conductor is plus Q, Earth is minus Q. What is potential difference? Potential difference is nothing but potential of sphere. Because even if you give a charge minus Q to Earth, potential of Earth will remain 0 only. We had discussed that earlier. The radius is so large, the potential does not change. So what is potential difference equal to potential of a sphere? Potential of a sphere is KQ by R. And in case of capacitor, we always use epsilon naught expression. So I write K in terms of 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. What is C? C is equal to Q by V. So what is expression for capacitance? 4 pi epsilon naught R. Thus a capacitance of what? Isolated sphere, conducting sphere of radius R. So when we are talking about capacitor, we are always talking about conductor. Conductors alone constitute a capacitor, not the insulator. So so we have done three things. We have done capacitance of two parallel plates, A epsilon naught by D. So numerator is length dimension. Then we did in case of two concentric spherical shell. Expression comes 4 pi epsilon naught. There is length square term in the numerator and the length term in the denominator. Length square is R1 R2 divided by R2 minus R1. Third expression what we had is for spherical shell. It's 4 pi epsilon naught into R, the length dimension in the numerator and epsilon naught. Okay, so this is something we have very basics of capacitor. Again, to repeat what we understood, we should have understood what is a capacitor, what is charge on a capacitor, what is potential of a capacitor, how do we calculate capacitance. Capacitance is independent of charge because as we change the charge, potential also changes. The ratio remains constant. First thing we found out capacitance of parallel plate capacitor, A epsilon naught by D. Method of finding capacitance is place charge plus Q minus Q. Find field and then calculate potential difference, which will come in terms of Q. Take the ratio of Q by V, you will get capacitance. Then we also try to understand battery. Battery is also somewhat similar to capacitor, but only thing what happens as battery supplies charge, as the charge moves from positive plate to negative plate, it loses potential energy. That potential energy as well as charge is replenished by internal mechanism of the battery. And if the charge Q flows out, it loses potential energy equal to QV, and that energy is made up by the battery process. So battery will do a work equal to QV. Then we calculated capacitance for concentric spherical shell, and we calculated capacitance for an isolated sphere. Okay, So that's what we have done today. And today doubt session is only for questions which are a little more tricky. And many of those questions may not be relevant for simpler examinations. So those who are interested may come and join. Some of you posted doubt already. Anybody has any additional doubt which are not very simple in nature, you can post and you can join in the evening session today. So evening session, I will take up some of the question, and notice some of those questions are qualitative also in nature, not necessarily complex calculation.
Sir?
Okay. Yes.
Sir, can you go to the slide where you showed charging of a capacitor?
You go and see yourself. Again, tomorrow if doubt, you start from there. I'll do that from beginning. Okay. Slides are there. I will mail the slides to all of you. See that you are understood. If something is not clear, again, beginning of the session, tomorrow again ask me. But before that, try and go through, see how you can figure out yourself or not. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, then I'll stop here. And
Sir,
yes.
sir, so the potential of a capacitor is